Welcome to the Golden Road Podcast.
We fell in love at a wedding,
Walked across America,
and now travel full-time in our self-converted school bus.
We've got a lot of stories to tell, so let's get to it.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Foxy.
The time has officially come.
Yes, we are here. We're probably going to be doing most of this, our first podcast, looking at each other.
Yeah.
But for the introduction of this video, this is podcast number 1. It's a new thing we're going to be doing.
If you're just listening to this via audio, ignore that.
Yes, that's true.
Imagine us looking at you, looking at each other, thinking of you, holding you. That got weird.
The podcast is something that we've been trying to do for a long time, or wanting to do.
I mean, I can't even, we have so many voice memos on our phone from the last almost 3 years of us just like going to start podcasts and wanting to do it. So it's time. It's officially happening.
This podcast number 1 is going to be a quick introduction on us, how we met, moving to California. And then from there, we're going to have to go into another episode.
Yeah.
So let's take it away, Grace.
Do we want to talk about our backgrounds at all?
Yeah, Grace, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
Well, I was born in Omaha, Nebraska. At 1, I moved to Cedar Rapids, technically I moved to Marion, Iowa. I don't know why I'm nervous because I'm just looking at you. Anyway, I moved to Iowa. I was there my whole life until 18. High school was all right, but I knew I needed to get out of that state. Yeah. And so I went to University of Nebraska-Lincoln. I studied advertising and public relations with minors in business and psychology, and I did a program called Semester at Sea, Studied Abroad, and that's what kind of bit me in the butt and gave me my travel bug.
And what year of college was that you did that?
That was my spring semester, sophomore year.
Okay.
And then I just finished college, because I met you right after I finished college.
Yes.
You take it away.
Okay, my background briefly. Born in Kirkland, Washington. Lived in Baker City, Oregon, till about 3rd grade. And then lived in Idaho, Boise, Idaho, my whole life. I loved basketball. Probably 6th grade, I started really diving into basketball. And then kind of put all my time there and into school. Went and played college basketball for 2 years. Moved back to Idaho. Was doing some high school coaching, had the opportunity to walk on at Boise State to play basketball.
Nice.
And then after that, I did my 3rd summer of firefighting. And then I was like, hey.
Wildland firefighting.
Yes.
Ooh.
And then I said, I need to go get out of the United States. I never had been. I'd always thought about it. So me and my buddy Kyle.
Had you been to you'd been to Mexico though before?
Yeah, Cancun though. I mean, it wasn't a pretty touristy experience. I didn't feel like I was in Mexico.
Right. Like an all-inclusive resort type thing.
Yeah. And then, then I went backpacking, had a great time, really fell in love with traveling, got home, still had some money saved up, no debt at my parents' house, so I started my handyman business for a couple months. And, that's going to take us to the big introduction.
You had money till you met me.
Yeah, I spent all my money on Grace, but... We met at our best friend's wedding, Brooks and Allie.
Yeah, so I met Allie on Semester at Sea. She was one of my roommates.
And then Brooks, I had played basketball at Walla Walla. We played some spring AAU together, so we knew each other that way. Didn't really get along at first.
You and me?
No, me and Brooks.
Oh.
At community college, and then ended up becoming really good friends. And so I was the best man for Brooks. Grace was the maid of honor. And Brooks had been talking it up like, hey, you and Grace are really going to get along. And I was like, well, I've got a girlfriend, dude, so I don't know what you're trying to do. I appreciate that.
Well, even when I went to Allie's bachelorette party I believe it was in May, she had told me, I said, who are Brooks's groomsmen and stuff. And she had told me about you. And then she made a comment like, oh, Brooks really thinks you guys would hit it off. But I just kind of laughed it off. But I followed you on Instagram at that time. But I didn't really think anything of it other than...
And I don't really remember you doing that. But also, before you, I wasn't on social media hardly ever.
Yeah, and you were probably just I
was like, oh,
who is
that's
this
cool.
person from Nebraska?
Yeah. I don't know what my thoughts were.
Yeah.
Or maybe I looked and I saw you had a picture with Allie, and so I was just thinking, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways, so
the week of the wedding, I was there that whole week prior helping out. And you you drove down.
I drove to Moscow, and then Brooks and I, after a day there, drove to
Spokane, Washington.
on like a Wednesday. Was the wedding on a Saturday?
Yes, it was on the Wednesday. And I remember Allie was saying that you guys were coming up, and I was so nervous just because I had in my head that like Brooks was trying to set us up already. And I also was dating someone, but it still can make you nervous.
Yeah.
And so then you guys showed up. We had gotten our nails done that day.
I honestly had no thought in my mind because I was just like, I'm already dating somebody.
Yeah.
So nothing's going to happen. I appreciate you saying that.
I didn't think anything was going to happen, but like...
It made you more nervous too that you also knew Brooks was saying that to me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess I didn't really know he was saying it to you. I should have assumed.
Yeah. But we arrived on Wednesday, and when we walked in, you guys weren't there yet, right? You got there, right?
No, we were there. I'm pretty sure we were there. Or maybe we all got there at the same time.
At the same time, maybe. And Grace was wearing a big, long T-shirt.
I was wearing my Nebraska.
Where did you guys come from then?
We went and got our nails done.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You were in a comfy attire.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, I remember I was wearing a black pair of shorts and my favorite Nebraska football T-shirt.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then, she was eating some turkey and some apples.
Yeah, I was just, honestly, I wasn't even hungry. I have if I'm bored or anything, I will eat. And if I'm nervous especially and there's nothing to do, I just like go to the fridge. And so that's what I did.
And I wouldn't call it love at first sight by any means,
No.
but we were both definitely like, oh, cool. You
Yeah.
know, like, I mean.
I do know the first time that I was like, that I did kind of like you was, well, because it was before we went to the, because we went to the grocery store to get like drinks and stuff because we were going to a pool. But before that,
Grace you didn't use my phone number or anything, and you could have saved $2 at the grocery store on your drinks. I remember that.
I forgot. I was like, oh, I don't have one. He goes, why didn't you use my number? I was just so nervous. I was like, I'm not gonna ask you for your
But what were you
number.
gonna say? Keep going.
Did we work on the little gift favors before we did that?
No, that was like probably Thursday or even Friday maybe.
Oh, okay, then never mind. Well,
That was probably Thursday. Wednesday, we got there. We went and got drinks. We went to the pool party.
we drove in your car, and I remember being impressed because your car was very clean. You had one of those little organizers and a trash
Oh,
can.
I did like that organizer. That was nice.
I was like, wow. I wasn't sure if I liked it or if I was like, he's tightwad. I wasn't sure.
But Grace and I, the first time we really got to talk was at the pool.
Yeah.
And so it was Brooks and Allie's family, and then Grace and I. And so like everyone was chatting and stuff, and then it ended up like Grace and both you and me just
Like
in the
hanging out by
water.
the pool together. Yeah.
And Grace really needed my help opening White Claws because she had just got her nails done.
It's
so you
true.
know, every about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, had to open up another White Claw.
I can't down those claws pretty quick.
And that sounds fun, by the way.
Yeah, it does sound fun.
Like, and I think that's side note on this podcast, but I think that's why I've been in my mood too. It's like we've been work, and
Well, tomorrow night we're staying at a winery cider place.
that's true. Okay, we're going back to the story here, and yeah, I just remember talking with Grace, and it was just super easy talking to you, like super relaxed. I mean, I remember first being a little nervous actually when everyone else got out of the pool besides you and me, and I was like, all right, buddy, well, you know, like,
Yeah.
and we just started talking, and it was like so quick. And the
Yeah.
first thing that we started talking about was your boyfriend named Matt.
Yeah.
And I was like, you've got to ditch this dude.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and
there was
hey,
a lot
I
going
don't mean to be disrespectful, but from what you told me, I was
Yeah.
like, gotta go.
Yeah.
And at this time, I still had my girlfriend. I wasn't
it
thinking,
wasn't even like the two of us that were flirting. It was
No.
truly just like friends
No.
having a conversation. And so I think that's also why I opened up to you so much about
Yeah,
my
I mean,
ex.
we talked for like an hour and a half in the pool.
Plus, you know, you've got a few claws going, and then you're nice and you say a few things. It's not that hard to open up.
Yeah. But, I mean, I just remember having a really good time. And then,
And we played volleyball.
oh, yeah, we played volleyball. You did pretty good.
Thanks, I did. I know. I remember I was like that. And then right when I really started
think
to
we-
get into
I
it,
think
I
we-
got swapped out.
Yeah,
I was
and
pissed.
I think maybe I made one flirty, like maybe I said something being a
Well,
little.
that night we started to get a little flirty. I don't know if it was because of the drinking, but I remember we went
Hold
back.
up now. Was that night the night at the house, or was the following night on
The
Thursday?
next night was the night at the
Thursday.
house. Yeah, but
because in the morning, now Thursday morning, is that when we went to get breakfast?
Yeah, because Wednesday night is when I asked for your number, because after we finished at the pool party and stuff, we all drove.
No,
Yeah?
no. No, you asked for my number the night with the cards, because then you texted me. You texted me right when you got home.
I think I had your number.
Oh, you do?
And I just hadn't texted you because I'm pretty sure what had happened was because we were drinking and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then you were like giving Sadie pizza. And so I
was not feeding a dog
yes, you
pizza.
Were. I vividly remember.
Crust? Piece of crust?
Yeah, we had been
not
drinking.
A piece of pizza.
Yeah, but you were giving crust, and I just remember being like way too giggly next to you, like, oh, I think you're eating pizza. Like, I vividly remember that. And then I'm pretty sure it was that night, and that's when I first kind of had the like, ooh, like I definitely have more feelings than just like this is a friend type thing. But that's when I texted you, and I sent you a message on Instagram saying, I need your number for maid of honor, best man things. And that's how I got your number. But I remember the next day being so embarrassed. And because then we saw you guys and we all went to go get breakfast. And I was so embarrassed.
And hungover.
Yeah, so hungover. And we sat next to this thing that just had Febreze shooting out.
And this spot, which everyone said had the best burritos and stuff, it was average.
Yeah.
And
I can't even attest to that because I was so hungover.
Yeah.
And then, and I remember
Were you going to try to sit next to me?
Yeah, that's what I was just trying to say. There was a whole booth, and it was, like, very obviously a pretty good spot to sit next to you.
Yeah, like, I remember. I was like, oh, this could be great. This is a nice opportunity.
Like, there was so much room, and I literally squeezed it next to all of the girls. I was so nervous. I thought, I am not sitting next to you. Plus, I felt like I felt so gross and hungover.
Now that night, we were all over at the house where I was staying at.
Yeah, because Allie had her hair and makeup trial that day, and then we went over to the house, and that's when, like, all the guys were starting to get in and stuff, so we went and all hung out.
Yeah, and I just remember, like, I mean, Grace and I were just kind of hanging out there. We were standing by each other. We were talking a little bit. We were eating gluten-free pretzels, which to find out, I have eaten so many gluten-free pretzels now.
We smashed that whole bag. Yeah, and then we were sitting out on the back porch, and I don't know if everyone went in or we just, like, weren't paying attention to other people, but we spent that evening, we were, like, talking about the backyard and what
we were outside with some other people at the time.
Yeah.
For a while,
yeah.
And then it was briefly you and I out there for a second before more people came out or whatever. Yeah. And then we went inside.
Well, because you would go out and hit the pen, and I wanted to hit it too.
Yes. This weed is a marijuana pen. Yes. And
it's
we're only gonna discuss that on the podcast and YouTube.
Yeah, there you go.
We can dive into that later. If you have any questions, leave them below. But yeah, I just remember, like, I got either I was drinking too much or whatever, so I laid down on the couch for a little bit, and I fell asleep for probably not that long, 15, 20 minutes, and I woke up, and I don't think you were looking at me.
I was just sitting on the table. Yeah, I was just, because Allie and Brooks went off by themselves, and everyone just kind of, like, went to bed or went off, I don't really know, and then I remember you were laying there, and then I was just sitting at the table, like, I do not know what to do.
And then I just remember I went over there, and then I was like, I don't know who said, do you want to play a game?
I don't either.
But we, and was the game Slapjack or Flapjack?
That's what
that was the controversy was Flapjack or Slapjack, and I believe you said Flapjack, and I was like, that's a pancake.
No, I think you said Flapjack.
I don't even remember. That's how stupid it was. It doesn't matter. But anyways,
but it had us dying laughing.
Yeah,
I mean, we were having a great time.
Yeah, we were just laughing. And
to the point where I was like sad when Allie was like, time to go.
And now, right before that though, let's back up a step. We both went downstairs to look for a phone charger at the same time. One of us was like, hey, we'll both go. And then like, we both went down there. And like, yeah, being away from people, we had a moment where we looked at each other. We didn't do anything. Yeah. But we looked at each other. And that was
like a pause.
That was probably the first time that in the accumulation of everything else that I was like, all right, she's pretty cool, you know. And then at that moment, I was wishing my girlfriend wasn't coming down, but like I wasn't gonna break that off beforehand.
Right. Hey, could you cancel your flight?
Yeah. You know, what's the right way to do it?
Yeah. Plus, we didn't know. Like, yeah, we felt, but like, who knows?
Now that night, you texted me though.
Yeah, I said, "Good game, Grooms."
Oh yeah. And that was flirtatious.
Yeah, it was.
And that was what I was like, nice. The next day was the rehearsal day.
I was so proud of myself too. 3Gs. I was like, good game, Grooms. Crushed it.
Nice. The next day was the rehearsal. It was also when my girlfriend and your boyfriend were coming.
Yeah.
And so we kind of knew we had our last time alone sort of
But
a
at
thing.
that point, like, I feel like both of us kind of knew there was, like, we definitely were feeling a little bit...
Something, what it
Yeah.
was, and if anything would have happened, nobody knew. But
Yeah.
yeah, there was something there.
Yeah. And then we had to go sit down for dinner at the rehearsal dinner. And I ended up sitting... It was
Oh yeah, what was that? What was that situation?
It was the guy I was dating, then it was me, then it was Matt, then it was the girl he was dating. And there were a few times where, like, I already have a really hard time listening.
We were just like talking.
Like, him and his girlfriend are talking, and all of a sudden I go, "Did you say something about X?" And
Oh,
they go, "No."
I remember that.
Totally inserted myself.
I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then we went over to
The hotel that Allie and I were staying at. It was a few people together, but then we'd all been drinking, but then Allie and I had to go up. Well, then we all went outside, hit the pen, and then this is what happened here, because I, like, made a comment. I don't really remember this.
Okay. So what happened here was my girlfriend had a little too much to drink, but I was also I was trying to look out for all interests, but also, like, I just felt like, hey, understand that I don't get this time with my friends, and, like, I was really looking forward to going out.
Yeah.
And I'm going to leave certain parts of this story out because I don't feel like they're necessary, but
I feel like you can't leave out the part about... Well, certain parts can be left out.
What were you talking about?
About, like, how you sent her home.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm going to say that. And I was just like, hey, I think you need to go home. And she's like, come back with me. And I said, no, I'm going to hang out with the guys. I'll get you an Uber. And I called an Uber. We made sure she got in the Uber, and everyone was pissed at me like I made the worst decision. But I'm like, and you know what? Looking back at it, what I would have done, I would have Ubered back, and then I would have Ubered back downtown.
Yeah.
But at that time, I wasn't thinking that way.
Yeah.
We're literally 100 yards from the place we're going to go.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking I'm being responsible by ordering her an Uber, making sure the dude's cool,
Yeah.
telling her, hey, she's had a little much to drink, just so you know, and getting her back.
You told the Uber driver that?
Well, I think he knew.
Oh.
I don't know if I said... I don't remember the conversation I had with him, but I was just making sure he was a good dude.
Yeah. But what did I say outside that hotel that night before she left or anything? Or maybe she was there, I didn't notice.
What are you referring to?
I made a comment, like, about your shirt or something, or a joke, or I did something.
her boyfriend was right by her, and she, like, you've been drinking a little bit and stuff, so you just been, like, doing whatever, and she came up.
I'm already, like, I have, like, a flirtatious personality already, and so sometimes, like, I am a little bit more friendly, and that I don't necessarily mean anything bad by it. I just am more friendly. So that already is how I am in general, but continue.
She came up next to my shoulder, and she was like, hey, I think that shirt's really cute or something. And I was like, what shirt was it? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was the button-up one, blue and white, short sleeve. You got it from Thailand, I think.
What? Oh, yeah, I did like that shirt.
Vietnam.
Yeah, that was a good shirt. And I was like, thank you. But I'm, like, literally looking behind my shoulder, and her boyfriend is standing there. I'm like, all right. And we went...
But then I made a joke or something, right? And only you laughed.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
Me either.
I was the only person who laughed.
Yeah. Thanks.
And then that was another one of those moments of, like, okay.
Yeah. And then...
Nothing else really happened that night?
No, went to bed. I definitely was thinking about you more that night. And then the next day was the getting ready. Like, it was the wedding. And it was funny because Brooks's mom was talking crap about you because you had sent her home in the Uber. And so I remember thinking, like, because everyone's talking smack about you, to be honest. Like,
everyone was talking smack about whatever they could talk smack about, which I'm not about. So
anyway, so that was happening. And I don't really know you. So in my head, I'm thinking, like, yeah, that was kind of a, like...
douchey move.
Yeah, like, that wasn't really very cool. And
again, looking back, I can see to a degree, but also, like, I still don't take back what I did.
Right. It doesn't matter. But then, anyway, and so then I, like... Because you were the best man and I was the maid of honor, I was messaging you, like, we're coming this week, trying to make sure that Allie wasn't seen, stuff like that. So that was going on. And then, we're literally texting about logistics, and I'm like, hey, like, just loving it. And then I remember, there was the wedding. During the wedding, the guy I was with, like, pretty much non-existent the whole wedding, like, the whole time, right?
What do you mean?
Like, wasn't there, like, with me, really. Like, I was just, like,
You
hanging
were
out with
probably
friends.
doing what you do at weddings, and you just go dance and leave everyone in the dust.
Well,
behind
people
you.
can dance with me or not, but, like, that's not my fault if you're always on your phone.
Yeah, I have my own experience with you at a wedding, and you did the same thing, and I also was not on my phone. So
Fair. Okay, anyway, I like to have a good time. I like to dance. But that was going on. Then, like, the wedding, like, there wasn't really anything. Oh, we walked down the aisle together. There is a picture of Matt definitely checking me out.
yeah,
So then so that was going on. Then the wedding ended. And then I went back I was with a bunch of my semester at Sea Friends. We went back to an Airbnb, and then the guy I was dating said, hey, why don't you text Matt Grooms and ask him where they're at? And so I was like, okay. And so I texted you, and I said where you are, and you were like not really texting super coherently, but I figured out where you were. And we got there, and then I wanted to dance. If you got on the bar and like sang a song, you could put $1 up, but the guy I was with wouldn't let me do that. You know, whatever. And then I ended up talking to, because one of the uncles or something bought us drinks because
buying everybody drinks. I felt like.
yeah, it was.
But when Grace walked in,
You were outside, right?
oh, I was outside, and so they came and were like, "Hey, what's going on?" And then I walked in, and my girlfriend was still sitting over on this. And I still felt like I was I mean, I didn't feel like I was a D-bag in the moment, and I never did anything to make myself feel that way. I don't regret anything. But we're over there, and like, yeah, I really want to talk to Grace. I'm not going to get that much time. So we're talking. You were talking about football with someone,
Yeah.
and you had no clue what you're talking about, and you were pissing this dude off.
But I was passionate and didn't
Yeah.
know what I was talking about, so I was like, you're wrong. Nebraska football is the best. Have no stats to back anything up. He's like, you guys have been losing all the time. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Glory days. And so just going on. But then I remember your girlfriend like wanted to leave, and you were so obviously, and this was like the first time I remember my face getting red, like, felt like a more intimate type moment, because you were literally just like staring at me.
Oh yeah, she was trying to talk. She was trying to say something, or she came over, and we were still having a conversation. So I was like, "Hey, 1 second," and we just kept talking.
But it was like you were staring at me.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a trailer coming in. We're at a campground right now.
Yeah, nice campground, Rio Grande Gorge.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Then the bar night ends. Whatever. Don't need to go into details on that night. Then.
What do you mean we don't need to go into details?
Well, I mean, like, I had more events happen that night, but it didn't involve you, so it doesn't matter. And then the next morning.
What events did you have happen?
Well, I, like, lost the guy I was dating. He, like, left. And then one of the friends I was helping because she was sad because her boyfriend had left. Like, it was just
wow.
crazy.
Okay, let's save it for another
And then I
time.
got this one dive bar to play my neck, my back. And so I just had a blast by
Nice.
myself. Yeah. But then the next morning was the brunch.
Yeah.
And it was the day everyone was leaving.
Yeah, and so I remember walking in, everyone was already there, and like those things are kind of weird for me because all I wanted to do was say bye to Brooks and Allie, really.
Yeah.
But you have to take so long to do that.
Yeah.
And so I was eating some snacks, I drank some orange juice and stuff. I saw you were heading downstairs probably to get changed, I
Yeah,
think.
because we had stayed in an Airbnb and I didn't have a change of clothes or anything, so I had to walk into the house with all my makeup and everything and my dress back on. And I had to go back through everybody downstairs.
I don't think I saw that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just remember like you guys were leaving. We were both kind of leaving at the same time. We hugged each other, said our goodbyes, and then you were heading towards Portland
Yeah, I was going to visit my brother.
on a train.
Yeah.
And I was heading back to Boise in my car. And I'll go from my side first. I'm driving back and I've got all these thoughts in my head. I've got the thought of, hey, number one, I need to move to California to coach basketball with my buddy. Like, that was my first thought of, like, that'd be cool. I really want to do that. Number two, I gotta break up with my girlfriend. And that's for two reasons. One, I really wanted you, and I felt like even if I couldn't get you, I wanted someone like you. And then two, I'm moving to California. Like, it wasn't to the point where I was going to do long distance. It was a couple months in. Hey, here we go. So I'm crying. My girlfriend's like, what's going on? And I'm just sobbing. I mean, it's not like a cry. It's like, I'm literally sobbing. I don't care that she's next to me. And she's like, what's going on? And I felt bad too, because like I did feel bad that it worked out. I mean, that it timed out the way it did with the wedding and everything. Like I didn't plan on that.
Yeah.
And so I felt bad there. And then, so I told her, I was like, I'm just going to miss my friends and stuff. But I was thinking those other thoughts. And I got back home. I dropped her off. And I'm just thinking to myself, dude, tomorrow you need to break up with her. And I'm just going to pray and pray that Grace will text me. Because that means there's an opportunity for whatever, and we can try to make this happen. So the next day, I'm still praying. I went over. I honestly don't know if you texted me until after I broke up with her. I don't remember. I don't remember the timeline, but I drove down. I was hanging out with her, and I was like, she could tell something was up, and I was like, hey, listen, I've got to break up with you. And
I probably did text you either like as you were doing it or after, because I'm pretty sure I texted you on the train when who I was dating went to the bathroom.
Maybe you did in the morning. I already knew I was gonna break up that day. Maybe you did, and I was just like, I went and did it, and then I remember I was still sad breaking up with her too, because it's like she was really nice.
Yeah.
Like she didn't do anything wrong,
Right.
but it just wasn't meant to be. And I remember just looking at a picture of you like on my way home, which I shouldn't have been looking at my phone, but I was like crying, so I was like, okay. You know what I mean? Like,
Nice.
It's all good. Like, it's no worries.
What picture from the wedding?
Probably. And,
Zoomed in on a group shot.
wow. And then, yeah, I remember messaging you pretty much right away, like, hey, I've got feelings for you. I understand this is crazy. I understand you're still dating the dude. But I'd like to figure this out. Let's take that to Portland.
Yeah, I have never had a guy be so straight up with me either, so that was kind of weird, but I liked it. And so then, as this is going on, I'm thinking in my head, oh my gosh, I'm taking this guy to meet my brother and his now fiance, and I don't think I want to be with him anymore. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I was just feeling so confused, and I was going to get a tattoo, and I had talked with Matt about getting this tattoo. He was the one who actually like made me solidify, oh, I'm gonna get it on the side, because the guy I was dating didn't think it was gonna look good on the side, but I thought, screw you, I want it on the side, that's where I'm gonna get it. And right after I got the tattoo, he was like so mean about it. All this stuff's going on. I mean, it was not a good week in terms of our relationship. But then on the other side of that, you're sending me the messages, you're like sending me love letters via Google Drive.
I had a letter, and I don't even remember what's written in it at this point.
Yeah, I'll have to pull it back up.
But I had a letter written before you messaged me of like, hey, here's all my deepest feelings, here's how I feel. And when I felt like you were somewhat on the same page with me, I said, hey, I've got this. I want to send it to you. Google Drive, baby.
Yeah. So he sent it to me. So I was like hiding in the bathroom reading it. And then I remember my brother, I don't like keeping things from my brother. Like, we're very close. And so I remember sitting next to him, and I wasn't telling him what was going on because I didn't know what was going on. And I was just feeling very lost and confused. And then we left Portland and we were flying back. And I had the similar thing where I was just crying on the plane. He's like, what's going on? I'm going to miss my brother, blah, blah, blah. And I went to the bathroom, and I ended up buying Wi-Fi on the plane, went to the bathroom, and I was texting Matt, just being like, I'm so sad, I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. Because the same thing, like what you were saying, like, even though the guy I was with had moments where he had horrible red flags, it was absolutely not nice to me at all. He was also, he had a lot of issues he was dealing with.
He's still a person.
Yeah, he's still a human being. We still spent time
together. And you're
together.
always a people person, no matter what.
Yeah, and it's like, I wish nothing but for the best for him. He has things to work on.
And again, that's why I was like, hey, yeah, you need to can this dude. I knew that.
Yeah.
But also, like, I still don't want to cross any lines. Like, I don't want to be that guy who's like doing something behind someone's back either.
Yeah. And so flew back. Well, and as we were flying back, Matt had said, well, let me prove it. I said, you're crazy, you don't love me, blah, blah, blah. And he said, let me prove it to you. And so I said, well, I'm going to Iowa. I'm going to be here this date. And so he literally, right after, sent me a picture, and he was like, I'm coming to Des Moines. And I thought, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't even believe it. But I also wasn't nervous at all. Like, I feel like normally a situation like that happens and you get kind of nervous and stuff. But I remember leaving Lincoln and driving to Des Moines to come pick you up from the airport. And I didn't have there wasn't an ounce of me that was nervous.
Yeah, I
feel like solidified it for me.
I wasn't nervous. I think I was more so excited.
Yeah.
And again, I had the full confidence that it was going to work out. And if it didn't, I was at least over there, you know?
Yeah.
And, yeah, we went to the Iowa State Fair. We saw the big old cheese. It was butter cow. Butter cow.
And there's a lot of details within that time, but I think some of those I really do want to save it for like a book or something, because I just feel like there has to be an elegant way to describe some of the things that went down, and I don't want to talk about it this way.
I agree.
But
let's just say I flew to Iowa, and literally within a day, I told Grace that I loved her, and I said, "Hey, I'm going to marry you one day. We need to get you down to California so we can get this thing rolling." Because I knew that it was going to be tough for us to do the whole long distance thing with everything going on. I knew that wasn't going to be the way. Yeah. And she was like...
And I had just graduated in May, and I had given myself a 2-year max, and then I needed to be out of the Midwest. So I met you. I was like, well, this is great, because I already wanted to get out of the Midwest. I wanted to go to the West Coast, and now I have a guy that I really loved, and I had no idea I could ever even have feelings like this.
Now, the hard time with this was, so I flew back, and then within a week I had moved down to California, and I wanted Grace down there as soon as I could. Hard parts with it, your parents not knowing me, which I completely understand, not trusting me, like, who is this guy that our daughter's moving to California to? Yeah. One aspect of, like, yeah, we're just going to move in together right away because that makes sense.
Well, and you were doing substitute teaching, and so even if you wanted to get your own, like,
yeah, I wouldn't have been able to. I had enough money for a little while till I met you. And, I actually really needed Grace to co-sign with me. Yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to.
Yeah.
And I had been down there for probably about a month-ish, 3 weeks a month, helping my buddy with basketball, waiting to get some substitute teaching stuff lined out. And I was just kind of going crazy. I was missing Grace. We were talking all the time on the phone.
We literally FaceTimed every day.
And I mean, everyone who's done the long distance, I'm sure you understand. But, like, that was tough.
Yeah.
Especially when I knew, oh, my gosh, like, please get here.
We'd spent such minimal time together, but it was, like, just the most amazing time. I mean, I don't know, like, how you can put that into words, the time that it was that we spent together. Like, it was truly crazy. I mean, the time that we spent together before I moved down to California, we had come up with the Golden Road. We knew we had something special. We literally looked online and found which apartment we wanted to live in. Like, we had all of that solidified immediately, and we barely knew each other, but it was right. Like, we just knew.
Yeah. And so I ended up driving to Lincoln, Nebraska. And, no, that's not true. Okay, I was like, I miss you. I'm not doing anything right now besides helping basketball, but I'm sure my buddy will understand. Because I was kind of bummed because I was thinking I was going to go down to California and have substitute teaching, but I'm down there. I'm not making any money. And I've done everything for the substitute teaching. I submitted my last piece of paperwork, and they said it could take 2 weeks. So I'm like, I gotta go.
Yeah, and so then we were thinking, oh, it'd be so fun to go on a road trip together. Like, let's go to
I was like, I'll pick
Mount
you up
Rushmore.
I'll pick you up in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
and then we'll drive basically back to Lincoln.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking, yeah, that's great. Like, no big deal. Buy that flight.
Buy the ticket.
Yeah,
$183. I remember.
And at this time, my parents, so, like, I was working for my mom. They had, like, more of a hold on me when it came to finances and stuff like that. And I also, like, obviously I want my parents' respect. I want them to approve what I'm saying. But, like, I was still in that weird line between...
You just got done with college.
Yeah, like, I wasn't in that adult... I don't know. I was in that weird line. And so my parents went ballistic when I told him I was flying to Nevada, and my dad especially, and my dad doesn't normally get mad about stuff like that, and he absolutely lost it, and he was like, you are not flying. But then this is what I think was funny, because he was like, you're not flying to Nevada, you don't know this guy, like he could take you out into the woods and kill you, blah 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 blah. He goes, how about he just comes to Lincoln and stays at your house? I'm like, if this dude wants to kill me, he can kill me living in my house. Like, but whatever. And
but this opportunity probably worked out better.
Yeah.
Because I was able to meet your parents.
Yeah, because you came down to Lincoln for a week.
I don't know if it was quite, like, at least, I think, like, 5 days.
Yeah, so he drove down and he stayed with me. And I also was supposed to be leaving for...
At the end of that week.
Yeah, I was going to go back to Cedar Rapids for a little while. I was going to stay at my parents' house for, like...
Work.
For, like, what, 3 weeks is when I stayed there? And then I left. Not even that long, maybe.
You were going to go longer.
Yeah.
You were thinking it was going to be, like, 2, maybe 3 months.
Yeah, and then I was able to leave earlier.
Yeah.
But then my parents were coming down for the game, and he was going to leave earlier eventually, but then you were like, hey, why don't I just meet your parents? Let's, just do this so it's good. And my parents, like, fell in love with you immediately, and then they felt way better. And I think that's what helped me be able to leave earlier, too.
Yeah, and I remember I wasn't nervous, but, like, there's some sort of nerves that go with it.
Well, yeah.
But it was awesome just how, like, I didn't feel like your parents were judging me or anything.
No.
Like, it was just a very quick, hey, very nice to meet you.
Well, and, like, my dad was like, oh, you played D1 basketball? My mom's like, wow, he's so tall. Like, they, like, were in love with you right away, I feel like. And I had let my parents read all the love notes that you sent me, because I felt like that kind of helped. It was either they were really going to think it's creepy or it was going to help, one of the two.
What is wrong with this dude?
Yeah, but that helped. And then there were some details that happened that week, again, that we will put into a book.
A lot of juicy details there that we will leave out.
Juicy.
But, from there I drove back, car full of stuff.
My stuff, yeah.
Also, the day before I left, I'm like, Grace, you got to get this stuff out. And she puts it all on Craigslist, and within, like, literally 5 minutes, she's like, oh my goodness, someone wants to buy the couch. And then, like, a minute later, oh my goodness, someone wants to buy something else. And you read it, and she's like, what's a cashier's check? They say they're going to have 2 people come over and pick it up. I'm like, that is not good.
Yeah, so I pretty much got scammed. I don't even remember what happened. Like, did I have a Goodwill truck come by or something? I don't remember how I don't
know what you did.
I truly do.
You stressed me out. I was like, I'm leaving.
I know. I have no recollection of how I got rid of that furniture.
I also wanted to help you the day I got there. I was like, we can do this as we...
But I just wanted to hang out with you.
I know.
Yeah, and so then...
So we packed up my car with a bunch of stuff, and I drove back.
Like, his car was full.
And at this point, I had the apartment, but Grace was like, don't get anything. So I'm sleeping on an air mattress
I wanted to
with my sleeping bag. The one thing she let me get was a coffee stand.
He was like, can I put it together?
Yeah, she was like almost getting mad that I put it together, but I was like, can I have something to set stuff on?
It's the control freak in me.
And I don't know how long after that you got down to Clovis on...
Oh, this is how I ended up being able to move down to Clovis early, thanks to my brother Nick, because he was about to move to Guam, and he was going to Vegas with Christine.
That's right.
And I was like, hey...
I really wanted... This would be perfect timing.
Yeah, I was like... I mean, I had 50-50 motive here. 50%, I was like, yeah, I would absolutely want to go see my brother and his wife, and I had never really spent time with them, like, alone like that, hanging out. And so I thought that would be a really good opportunity to get to know them better just by ourselves, because it always been with family. And then the other thing was, well, once I'm already down there, I might as well just drive to California. And so that's why I left early. So I drove down, stopped in Nebraska for a night. Then I went to Utah, stopped with Brecken for a night. Then I went to Vegas. I was with my brother for a night. And then your parents had come to visit you, and they wanted to stay, but I was like so hungover and nervous. I did not want to meet your
that
parents.
was like the day before. Yeah, it was just bad. It was.
Yeah. I was like,
It would have been you rushing down there feeling bad.
And I was already nervous. I will never forget. Well, hold on. I won't get there yet, but.
I just remember telling my parents, like, because they're like, oh, that'd be great to meet her. And I was just like, that's a lot.
Yeah, because, I mean, it was everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was driving through California, and I mean, I was feeling so good. Like, my endorphins were high. I was feeling great playing music. I can't believe I'm from Iowa. I'm finally moving to the West Coast. How is this even happening? Driving to California. The hills are so beautiful. And then I start driving, getting closer towards Fresno, and there's just trash everywhere. And I called Matt and
And a bunch of dirt.
yeah, I literally called Matt and I was like, where am I moving to? This is so, like, I hated it. And not, like, upset, but it was more of just oh my, like, it felt like I was in a different country. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And then I remember I took the exit and I went through. Now looking back, like, I can imagine the apartment now, but at the time it was this weird round, and I remember going around, came around, I remember Matt came out, and my heart was beating so fast. Like, I was so nervous. And then this is what this guy does to me. This is like the definition of you, I feel like. I show up, I arrive, we get into the apartment, we're like, kiss, night, like, woohoo, this is
Hit the
happening.
pen.
Yeah, hit the pen. He's like, hey, you've arrived, hit this pen. And then right after I hit the pen, he goes,
We don't have a problem with the pen.
no? What do you mean?
No, I'm just saying, we've mentioned the pen like 3 times. Every time we hang out.
No, all at events. It doesn't matter anyway. But then, and all in legal states. And then,
That's,
almost true.
yes.
and then, so we hit it, and literally I'm thinking like, oh, we're going to hit this and hang out for a second.
I don't know why I did that.
I don't either. Right
That was
after we hit
dumb.
it, he goes, we need to go to the leasing office. You need to sign stuff right now.
Yeah, because the day before, they had said, and where's Grace? And I said she's driving down, or not the day before, a while before, and they're like, as soon as she gets into town, she needs to come over.
And you're very...
And I'm thinking, okay, she just got to town. We need to go and finish signing these papers.
So I'm thinking, why would I hit this pen first then? Like, what the heck? And so we go in, and this is like, I mean, we have been together maybe an hour tops, and and we still at this point hadn't even spent a month total together. And, we go sit down, and then all of a sudden, Matt's getting mad at the leasing office. He's like, my girlfriend moved here because this is going to be a safe apartment, blah, blah, blah. The gate's not fixed. This isn't fixed. And I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, like,
the
what
gate
was
was
going
the
on?
biggest thing.
Yeah, it never got fixed.
Which they had no clue when it was going to get fixed. I'm like, how do you not know?
Yeah.
People keep hitting it. Okay, fix it again.
Yeah.
And it really got me pissed off.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just remember leaving and I was like, I'm so sorry we just did that.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Yeah. That
You
happened.
signed the papers.
Yeah, and then we went to like Costco and stuff. We went to Marshalls and Ross to like pick out some decorations for the apartment. It was really fun. We spent that next week just setting up the apartment, hanging out.
I think this is probably a good time to leave episode 1.
Yeah.
Thank you for staying tuned on episode 1.
That felt so abrupt.
What?
That felt so abrupt.
Do you want to not?
No, that's fine. We can end it.
I just didn't want to get into... We're already at pushing an hour.
Yeah, okay. Well, next episode we're going to talk about why we decided to walk across America.
Next episode, we're going to talk about our time in California.
Oh, yeah.
And then why we decided to walk across America, possibly getting to the start line.
Yeah.
Until next time, if you're listening from podcast or if you're watching from YouTube, make sure to click subscribe, make sure to like, make sure to follow, make sure to share.
Yeah, and if you would like to see what's going on in our day-to-day life, just normal, it's at the Golden Road with 2 G's on all social media platforms. That's also our email if you want to chat.
We love you guys. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.